every president, but they just can't help themselves from getting into a new war. And of course, now things are heating up between Russia and Ukraine as the region is about to boil over like a pot of overcooked borscht. Everyone hates overcooked borscht. Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but a bunch of her skittish neighbors are. So President Biden is engaging in some geriatric sausage rattling and is promising to send troops to the region to soothe my Romanian peeps. Thank you. Yeah, it'll start small, probably a handful of troops, up to 5,000. But what happens when Russian tanks roll in and the shitsky hits the fan? The thought of a conflict with nuke-heavy Russia gives all us Gen Xers a collective butt pucker, and younger Americans are as anti-war as any generation ever. Even the older hawks are having a hard time wrapping their silver heads around what a hot war with Russians would look like, and no one can remember the feeling of winning, which pretty much means everyone has or will sour on the idea. So Putin is silly with gas money right now, as you know. So he's gaslighting the West, saying we're being hysterical for emptying our Ukrainian embassies and that Ukraine is being dramatic for counter-amassing their own troops. Big picture, we need to get off gas as soon as possible and stop supporting horrible regimes like Russia and Saudi Arabia, and do it in a way so fossil fuel tyrants are not replaced with green energy cultist commies who would be just as restrictive and dangerous. Everyone has a bad plan here. Republicans and Democrats, senators and the president. And no matter how this administration slices it, we are going to lose. Do nothing? Well, he'll find a way to screw that up, looking like an impotent mummy. Go in hard, and he starts World War III with no end game and a perfect entree for China to annex Taiwan. Leave it to drone strikes and sanctions and kill thousands more civilians in the process while achieving nothing? No thanks. NATO needs to stop treating us like their sugar daddy as the only actor capable of pimp-slapping Putin. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg needs to get up off his Norwegian keister and demand more from this outdated alliance than the odd Spanish frigate. It's their backyard. Do more. President Biden and Secretaries Blinken and Austin, I give this incompetent trio an ice sculpture and Tucson's chance of delivering even a mild version of success. My only question is it 2024 yet? And that's the memo. Earlier today, Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said the ball is in Putin's court if he wants to avoid a war. Watch.
And as I've said before, one significant key way for it to get de-escalated is for the Russians to pull some of those forces back out away from the border with Ukraine. And that they have shown no inclination to do that. In fact, quite the contrary. I think, they continue to add to the force presence there.
Problem is, Russia, they don't care what we think as long as they got gas money. And last week, President Biden basically gave Putin permission for a small incursion. Okay, if it's a small incursion, if we get just a little bit pregnant, that's fine. So is this showdown going to get spicy, or will cooler heads prevail? Here to discuss, retired Navy SEAL senior chief and congressional candidate for Wisconsin's 3rd District. He has a very good chance of winning there. Derrick Van Orden is back. Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. I wish it could be under better circumstances.
Yeah, no, and it's like inflation. This problem isn't going to go away. There are no good solutions, but something has to be done. What is that something?
Well, let's be very clear. You didn't have to be Nostradamus to figure out that if the president of the United States and his national security team intentionally abandoned thousands of Americans and our allies to their fate to terrorists in Afghanistan, that you should feel emboldened. So what we're seeing take place right now is a direct result of President Biden leaving Americans in Afghanistan and showing complete weakness across the entire spectrum. We've lost the respect of our NATO allies, and clearly the Russians are now threatening the Ukrainians, but they're testing Biden.
Are the Russians working in concert with China here? Is this a concerted, coordinated effort to weaken the United States in your estimation?
Well, you know what, Kenny, I don't think of it in those terms. What I think of it in the terms of is that the Biden administration is incapable of dealing with foreign policy decisions. Russia is challenging Biden, and so is China. So China is now watching Putin because Putin was watching Biden in Afghanistan. So this is a cascading effect. And what happens when you show weakness to people that only understand strength is this. So what needs to happen, in my estimation, is we need to make sure that it's crystal clear to the Russians that you can't willy-nilly go around invading your neighbors. You just can't do that. International norms have to be adhered to. And I'm saying this as a person that has 5 combat tours and don't look forward to sending any of our American sons and daughters in harm's way because of Biden's incompetence.
Yes. But Biden's incompetence was also on display in 2014 during the Crimea annexation, and you were in Europe at the time.
That is correct. And I'm not sure what Vladimir Putin's cognitive decline looks like, but I'm pretty sure he can remember that Joe Biden was the vice president of the United States when they annexed Crimea to make sure that they had their Black Sea ports again. So Biden has shown consistently weakness when it comes to challenging people who are rogues, essentially, international rogues. I mean, the last time that Biden got into a real conflict, I believe, was with that guy named Corn Pop on the pool deck. And Vladimir Putin understands that. You got to remember, this guy was a counterintelligence officer for the
GB. That's what he meant to say. Yes.
And he needs to be watched. And say again, please.
Oh, no, you were freezing up a little bit there. I was worried that you were an automaton and someone sprayed you with water and you froze up. Are you, in fact, a human?
I am.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we can't really count on President Biden to show anything other than weakness. And the flip side, you mentioned your monologue, if he gets backed into a corner because he's showing such weakness across the board, he may overreact, and then we're going to have real problems that we don't want to
have a war.
Have to face here.
And how do you get out of that war?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it would be it would be at this type of scale that we don't want to see. If we're going to get involved in an armed conflict, for Pete's sakes, let's learn from the 20-some years we're just in sustained combat, meaning let's set real attainable goals. If we decide to get involved in a military
trust this administration to set attainable goals? I sure as hell do not. I don't trust them with anything. And that's why I know there are no good options here. I totally get that. But starting a war for the sake of starting a war is the worst option. So, you know, we will continue to have this discussion because you may be on your way to Washington at the end of the year, and it doesn't look like Russia's going to be out of Ukraine anytime soon. So I'll check back in very soon. Derrick Van Orden.